Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Nope, different Bellevue West grad.
The better of the two athletes.
Cannot confirm nor deny. I have no evidence to the contrary.
You know what? You know what I can say? And I'm going to say this with supreme confidence. I was the better hurdler of between me and Strick.
Think you were faster than Strick?
I don't know. I don't think Strick didn't do track, so I don't know. I need his numbers.
So I get track speed, but
pretty quantifiable.
At the same time, you can run, but you can also play at a different speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was always faster on a basketball court or chasing down a fly ball than I ever was on a track. It was just different. I needed something else to do.
Yeah.
Running straight was boring.
That's why you hurdle.
Well, here's the thing. I tried hurdles one year after literally break my arm that winter, go out for hurdles next spring.
How'd that go?
Fine. Only biffed it once.
Yeah, hurdles are great. Hurdles are fun.
It's running and jumping. Fantastic. It's something else to do.
Exactly. It's amazing. But you don't jump a hurdle. You hurdle a hurdle. It's just an extension of your running form, and people need to get that straight.
It's true. That's the first.
Except for me. I jump it because I'm short.
The high hurdles, you just run underneath, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I could have. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
No, it was fun. It was great, and I love hurdles, but I get what you're saying. There's a different type of game speed than track speed, because there are people, I mean, many people know this. There are people who are football fast who aren't, track fast. Like on a football field, like that dude is zooming. You get him on a track, you're like, oh, that's actually not that fast. But it's a weird thing that people have, because you've got people on a basketball court who are absolutely disgustingly fast. Like De'Aaron Fox on a basketball court, one of the fastest people in the NBA, if not the fastest person in the NBA.
John Wall going baseline to baseline in like 4 seconds.
Yeah. I don't know how he would do on a track, but it's just crazy how much faster some people are doing certain sports. Billy Hamilton chasing a fly ball in center field. The dude is zooming. So, we'll see.
But the freeze might beat him in a race.
Might. He probably would, actually. I would take the freeze over Billy Hamilton in a race.
If it's home to first or first to third, I'm taking Billy Hamilton. The entire outfield.
Just the outfield, the slow curve, not the running around the bases, because that's also a tricky thing. I've never done it, but I can imagine how hard it is.
It's not that bad. As long as you plant that outside foot on the inside corner of the base, you're fine.
Is that where it needs to go? I don't know.
Yeah.
So when you're running, you put on the inside of the base?
You put your right foot. So you're staring at first base.
Yeah.
Right? You have a square. Okay.
I know.
Yeah. You put your right foot on the close inside corner, so you can turn as sharply as you can.
So the part that's closest to the pitcher's mound.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where you step.
I would mess that up.
And you have to bow out a little bit to round and hit it. 'Cause if you're going to run in a straight line, you're going to run essentially a post route when you hit the base. So you have to take, I don't know, probably 10, 15 feet before you take a couple steps into foul territory to give yourself enough of a turn to make that line to second base as straight as you can.
See, I'd mess up. I'm just going to break down and just hard cut. That's what I'm going to do.
There are also no guiding lines that you have to stay in like track.
Yeah.
There's a little interpretation you can do.
You have to stay within the base path. That's what I always hear. I never know because there's some people that like kind of stray, and I'm like, is that not in the base path? But they're like, no, it's still in the base path. I was like, what is the base path? How big is the base path?
As wide or as narrow as the umpire deems it to be,
I think
given the context of the play.
I think I would have been pretty good at baseball.
Could have been Terrence Gore.
I'm half Puerto Rican. I would have been great.
I'm still disappointed you didn't go blonde.
I thought about it. Like I said, if they would have won against Mexico and gotten to the semis, I would have done it. Not even a second thought. I would have done it. My wife would have hated it, but I would have done it.
Fair enough. Welcome to On the Block, officially. I'm Austin. He's Rico. Strick, I believe, still planning to join the show at some point. If not, Rico's going to have to play the shootout.
I'll win.
You're what, 1-0? 2-0?
I'm 1-1.
1-1.
On my own. I am undefeated. I think I'm 4-0 against Strick when it comes to tiebreakers.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Pretty good what I do. No big deal.
So stay tuned for that. We'll see where we get to with that. Plenty to get to. Our number one, Nebraska basketball transfer targets. A lot of interesting names out there. What it mean for the roster construction. And then next segment, we're going to get into this question I saw on Twitter. Not the one that you posted. I have one other thought on that before we really get going. Someone posted on Twitter, since 1998, 1999, would you rather be Kansas, North Carolina, Duke, or UConn? So we're going to get into that, give you some numbers and some context behind that. 3 o'clock hour, Lamar Jackson requested a trade. Who's that situation on? Who's to blame? Why is no one chomping at the bit to get Lamar Jackson? We'll get into that, and we'll talk with Steve Sipple at 3:30. Any thoughts on the show? You can chime in here, 402-464-5685. That's the Starter Heyman hotline or text line, and the Honda of Lincoln hotline as well. Okay, back to what we were talking about there in what I think we can still call the crossover, even though I was filling in for Nick.
Yeah, it's the crossover.
It's the crossover.
Crisscross, applesauce, over.
Yes. Mississippi Mud Dog said Callahan didn't really have that much success. 9-5, a division title doesn't move the needle. Also had 2 losing seasons in 4 years after not having a losing season for like 41 straight seasons. Correct. Callahan didn't have that much success, but it wasn't a complete failure. Bill Callahan brought some of the lowest lows Nebraska football had seen. I mean,
up until that point.
Up until that point is the operative phrase there. Brought in his fair share of 5-star talent. Like actual legit 5-star rated talent, won a division title. That Alamo Bowl was fun. Again, not an overall wildly successful tenure, the worst we had seen in a long time up to that point. But right now, he's not the worst coach in Nebraska football history.
He's not. He's top 3.
That's my argument.
He's top 3. He's not the worst, though.
Well, and he's not the worst, but he's not top 3. He might not be top 3 worst. There were some clunkers.
We'll have to go back.
I got it pulled up right here.
In recent history, I guess he'd be top 3.
Well, I mean, since 2000, he's top 3 worst.
Exactly.
So anyways, I just want to get that out there. I'm not defending Bill Callahan. I'm just saying he's not as bad as I still think people think he was.
I think he set up success for the next coach. For the first couple of years of the next coach, I think he set him up for some of the success that he ended up having.
I think that's fair to say.
He did build upon that afterwards, but in those, 3-4 years directly after Callahan, I think those can kind of be attributed back to Callahan. Again, that's not, it's not his coaching tenure, so you can't really count that towards the success or lack of success that he had. But I think that he did assist in the success of the guy who followed after him.
Callahan is a lower middle tier coach in Nebraska football history, not a bottom tier coach.
Okay. That's
where I'm planting my flag.
Okay. I think the worst part about Callahan is just the fact that he got rid of a lot of things. I think it didn't have to do with the on-field success or lack of success. It was the off-the-field practice, taking banners down and pictures down and all that stuff. I think that
happened.
That is what makes him such a disliked figure in Nebraska football circles. The on-the-field success, lack of success definitely contributed to that as well. But I think for the most part, when you think of Callahan, a lot of people go to what he did off the field. It's not like he got in trouble off the field, but just the removal of history, I guess you could say.
That's another conversation we need to have at some point. Where is the dividing line between making sure your history is acknowledged and remembered without being actually beholden to it and forcing things to be the way they used to be? Times change. They do. So there's a balance there between acknowledging, remembering, celebrating the past and doing what worked, but also adapting and modernizing. It's one thing to, light a match, drop at North Stadium and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what Bill Callahan did. I think that came 15 years later.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I got nothing else for you, man. It's just when you think of Callahan, it's that for the longest time it was he who shall not be named. You couldn't even say the name around these parts without people just getting up in arms and upset. But now when you look back at it, it's not the worst that we've ever seen. It was a very low point for Nebraska football up until then. But it's not completely terrible. Because you think about what happened, how he set up success for Bo Pelini, for the next coach, and you thank him for that, but you don't thank him for what he did coaching.
All right, Rico just made the nuclear take go off in my brain. You are saying Bill Callahan was a better coach than Tom Osborne because he made it easier for the next guy to succeed.
Don't you
Quote
do that.
Rico.
Don't you do that. Don't. No. How dare you?
That's what Rico said.
How dare you? He set the next guy up for success. Tom Osborne set the next guy up for success.
No.
You
Said Tom Osborne made it too hard for the next guy to have success.
He set him up for success. It's just that the success that he had wasn't to the same level of success.
I still think you just said Bill Callahan's a better coach than Tom Osborne.
Don't you put those words in my mouth.
They came out of your mouth. I didn't put them in.
I like being liked by the people. I'm not Jake Sorensen. I can't have everybody mad at me on Twitter.
Okay, Jake was right, though.
Whatever.
Jake was right.
We're not doing this.
Jake was right.
We're not doing this.
Rico.
We're not
Jake
doing this.
Right.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, let's do this instead. Nebraska basketball has some transfer targets out there. You need
ton.
to restock the cupboard. A couple of them already off the board. Paxton Wojcik and John Tanji, both off the board. Both play guard position. Paxton Wojcik would have been the transfer from Brown University. Ends up going to North Carolina, where he's going to be Andrew Playtech 2.0. Congratulations on mediocrity, young man. Could have come to Lincoln and been a part of something special. Just kidding. Paxton Wojcik is a darn good player. Wish him, I can't say the best, but
I wish him success.
Good luck. That's what I'll say. Good luck. You're going to need it. John Tanji, that's one that it sounded like there was some mutual interest between he and Nebraska. Ends up going to Missouri.
A pretty good season for Missouri. I mean, you have success and transfers / recruits will follow. Like, it's impressive what they're doing in the SEC, and we've had this discussion about SEC and Big Ten basketball. The SEC has guys still playing in the NBA at high levels, whereas the Big Ten will put some people in the NBA, but in terms of star power after college, it doesn't really follow.
It really doesn't. The Missouri get of Tanji fascinates me depending on what Kobe Brown does. Kobe Brown had a fantastic year. All SEC first team, 6'7" wing that did some really fun stuff in that first round game against Utah State. Just completely took over in the second half, made that close game swing Missouri's way over like a 4 or 5 minute stretch. Kobe Brown's really good. Pair John Tanji with that's fun. Or if Kobe Brown leaves. Right now, projected second round, had a good year last year, still kind of growing into his game. If he leaves, does John Tanji play more of a feature role at Missouri? I'd be curious to see.
That would be, I think Tanji and Brown would benefit from Brown returning because, as you said, he had a really good season. But if you're projected second round, if you truly believe you want to bet on yourself, if you think you can build upon that with another guy who is as electric as John Tanji was in high school and was at Colorado State, you can build upon that and play yourself into maybe not a lottery position, but at least a late first round spot, because that's exactly what John Tanji is trying to do. That's what every transfer, when they're going into their senior year or what have you, and they end up transferring to a bigger school, they're looking to play themselves into a better draftable position. And John Tanji has all of the explosiveness and electricity to help a team like Missouri, who started off the season, like 16-0 or something like that?
Really good.
Get to the next round. I'm not going to say that next level like a champion, but the next round at least in the NCAA tournament.
And they finished, top third of the SEC. Big step in the right direction. Dennis Gates.
It was a down year for the SEC, but still.
Not really.
It was in terms of
because Kentucky didn't win the league doesn't mean
the parity argument. The parity argument where you don't have the teams that usually lead the league. You had, I guess Alabama who got up to number 1 and all that stuff. That was helpful, but Texas A&M kind of coming. I'm going to say coming out of nowhere and making the SEC championship game. You had just a very bad year for Kentucky. I don't know. It just seemed off for the SEC this year.
Very bad year for Kentucky. They end up 12-6 in conference play.
Very bad. That was terrible for them.
It started off terribly. They picked it up. Again, not ultimately a successful season for them, losing to Providence. Or they beat Providence, but then losing to Kansas State. Not an ultimately successful year for them, but given how we were talking about Kentucky in December and January, Cal made something of that team. Missouri goes 11-7, 25-10 overall. Hey, guess who else finished 11-7 in the SEC? Tennessee did.
Tennessee was electric.
Tennessee was the opposite of electric, but they were effective. I'll give them credit for that. So anyways, that's where John Tonji goes. A couple targets for Nebraska that are still out there. Not sure how realistic these are, but they've at least heard from Nebraska. The first one is the one that I think is more important to target, and that's Caden Shedrick. Played at Virginia, played in 30 games, but saw his minutes drop by the end of the season. Started 15 of them, averaged 17 and a half minutes a game, shot 67% on twos, 80% of the free throw line for a 6'11 post guy. But what fascinates me about Caden Shedrick isn't so much the offense, it's the defense. Fantastic rim protector. Averaged 2 blocks a game last season, averaged a block and a half, and 0.8 steals per game this season. That's a big guy that can do the little things.
That's active hands for a big guy.
It's active hands. It's good positioning. He learned under Tony Bennett at Virginia. Not that Nebraska played the pack line like Virginia has, but to be completely honest, Rico, if you could give me a choice between getting Caden Shedrick or Isaac Trout to Lincoln, give me Caden Shedrick.
I mean, that would help in terms of, Nebraska's kind of lacking in big man depth, and it would really add to, possibly having another defensive stalwart at that position. But I think in terms of, we've talked about it before. You've talked about it with Strick. I've heard you talk about it, where in the Big Ten in the regular season, big man play will win you those games. And you're going to need your big men not only to be defensive stalwarts, but to be able to score the ball. Right now, you've got Wilhelm, who, we've talked about it many a time. I don't need to go into that again. He has the potential, but it's lacking right now in consistency. Blaise Keita, who number one JUCO player, you would think that there's some type of offense there, couldn't stay healthy. And then if you add Caden Shedrick, I mean, it's a guy who I don't know what his potential is, but he's averaging 6.2 points a game. You're going to need more than that.
No, you're not.
You're going to need more than that.
No, you're not.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not. Because my whole argument is that the big man Nebraska gets has to be low maintenance. If he gets 6 points a game off of lobs or off of just putbacks, perfect. You can't play through the post. Just feed him post ups.
Yeah.
He shouldn't need a deep bag. You need the body in there to protect the rim and to rebound.
You have that in Blaise Keita right now.
What I'm saying is Caden Shedrick is better than Blaise Keita, and I'm much happier with Blaise Keita as the backup behind Caden Shedrick.
I mean, I don't really have an argument with that. I don't know Caden Shedrick's game that well, but I'm just, to me, if you're just looking for 6.2 points and 3.8 rebounds and 1.4 blocks, the blocks are better than what Nebraska has. But I think Blaise Keita can get you 6 and 4 on any given night. I think Blaise Keita can give you that.
The most impactful player in the ACC by the end of the season was Derek Lively, who averaged 5 points and 5 rebounds per game. That's not a lot, but what he did defensively was a game changer. He averaged 2.5 blocks and half a steal per game as a defensive engine. Super low maintenance player, didn't demand the ball on post-ups, moved the ball on offense, made his living on putback dunks and on swatting guys out of the vicinity. That's the type of big man you need at Nebraska.
And I'm not saying you need a big man to completely run your offense through, but I am saying that you're going to need a little bit more in terms of offensive production, because you have a guy, again, in Blaise, who can offer you that defense, and his defensive IQ is otherworldly. You've seen how he gets in the way and draws charges, and his big body, he's done a great job at avoiding fouls and altering shots. I think he can do that for you. To me, if you're going, again, between Shedrick and Trout, I think you need to score. And I think Trout can give that for you. That's
why the other name is Joe Girard that we have to get to in just a second. We do have to step aside here for our first break of the show. You need scoring from guards, not your big man. That's essentially my point. Look like Strick's here in the waiting room. We will bring in the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA veteran, on the other side. Rico, appreciate you sitting in. I still can't believe you think Bill Callahan's better than Tom Austin.
Stop it!
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts and service teams are ready to serve you this planting season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln. Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
A lot of businesses say that they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Reading may be the most valuable skill your child will ever learn. And research proves that when children read outside the classroom, they do much better in school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's easy to picture yourself reading with a young child curled up in your lap, but don't forget about your older children. They also need encouragement to read. So set aside some time to read together and help your child achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat with packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8, and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket at theticketfm.com.
That's right. It is Strick in the building now, the correct Bellevue West graduate on the show. Stricky, how are the high seas? How you doing today?
It was kind of a little bumpy overnight, but not too bad right now. Pretty. The weather's warm. The winds are very breezy out here, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful sitting out on the deck today. Little breakfast, little coffee on the block, baby. We here. We still in the building.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about technology these days, man. You can be wherever you need to be at any time in any place, no matter where you're at. So it's pretty cool.
Still get that business done. Somehow forgot to mention Mary Ellen's in our first segment. Make sure you check out Charles and his crew tomorrow throughout the rest of the week. Let them fix you a plate down at 27th and Pine Lake in Lincoln. All right, Strick, Rico and I talked about one potential target for Nebraska basketball in Caden Shedrick, a transfer from Virginia who's heard from Nebraska. I think that would be a good low-maintenance fit for Nebraska, a defense and rebounding big man. Flipping sides, though, to a more offensive-oriented player, John Rothstein tweeted just a couple minutes ago that Kerr Kriisa, the transfer guard from Arizona, is, according to Rothstein's source, in Lincoln visiting today. I think that would be a really fun fit. A guy that shoots 37% from three for his career, that's played winning basketball at Arizona. And with Keisei Tominaga's future at Nebraska still in limbo, I think Kerr Kriisa would be either a good fit to replace Keisei or to play alongside of him, to have two really good, really consistent shooters at the guard positions.
I mean, you're definitely in need of a great lead guard, whether that's a lead guard that's capable of distributing the ball and making sure that everybody is in the right place, getting teams settled down, being able to and look, we looked at the NCAA tournament and we saw what it is. Tight defense, shots don't come easy. They may be plentiful, but they don't come easy. There's a lot of counters, a lot of extra things, extra passes. Those types of situations was definitely needed in a guard, as you saw. Let's just take a look at just Kansas State. Noel just was able to just really kind of get them what they needed. Other than that last situation, I hate that happened because I don't want it to be deflected as to how good of a tournament he had. But at the same time, you look at even Hogard. Hogard was phenomenal in the tournament. Guys like that can be a great lead guard, that can find guys, distribute the ball, get them where they need to be. With Keisei, they're going to need that at the guard position. You like what you got out of Jamarcus Lawrence this season. That's great. But again, scouting reports can catch up with you. They're going to, some people go through sophomore slumps. You have those type of situations, but someone that's seasoned, that's been through the ringer, that understands kind of what is needed and necessary for a team. I think that's a look that definitely one that needs to be fulfilled or filled.
Absolutely. So you mentioned Jamarcus Lawrence, where a solid freshman season, especially for a guy that wasn't expected to play nearly as much as he ended up doing because of unfortunate injuries. The offense-defense argument here will be fascinating to watch because Jamarcus Lawrence proved he can get downhill, knock down some open shots, and is a pesky on-ball defender. Plenty of room to grow in that regard, but he's solid. Two other guards coming up then behind him would be Karan McPherson, who was expected to play this year before the knee injury forced him to medical redshirt, and then Ramel Lloyd, who came in and redshirted this year as well. There are a lot of fascinating combinations Nebraska can throw out there depending on what the situation calls for. You feel good about Jamarcus Lawrence shooting the basketball despite some free throw issues. Keisei Tominaga, if he comes back, is a good shooter. If Nebraska gets Kerr Kriisa, a proven shooter, solid free throw shooter, good 3-point shooter. Then it just depends on what do Ramel Lloyd and Karan McPherson bring to the table in their first go around in college basketball. Can they be defense first guards focused on that while they, get their feet under them, shooting the ball and learning how to run a college offense? Or do you have to rely on, Jamarcus Lawrence as really your point of attack defender?
Let's just start with Q. Let's start with Q McPherson. With his situation, it's never easy to return from a knee injury, right? The technology is way better than I would say in our days, probably, less invasive, not as many, deep cuts as that used to happen if you had those type of situations in the past. But he was going to be solid, good, strong body, He can get there. He can create space with the use of his size and body and strength. So just whether or not he can run, I just don't know. I hadn't even really got to see him in practice enough to really feel comfortable about that. I think he's a defensive hound. He has those capabilities. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to feel comfortable. He's going to be tentative, and the way that he's going to deal with that knee situation. Now let's go over to Romel. Romel Lloyd is not going to play defense to the same tune. It's going to be very similar to Greasel. Can move his feet, can get in front, but it's not going to be a hog type of defender. So, but he does have similar skill set that Greasel does have, and that is to be able to post up, to be able to get in there. Now, he is different in that Greasel's a he's a downhill attacker with one counter to be able to finish with either the right floater or the left or at the basket, right? Whereas Romel, he don't mind getting to his mid-range. He'll get in there, find some mid-range space, pop you. He can post up, give you a little bit. He's got a little bit more shimmy to his game than Greasel did. Now, so that's what we're going to be looking at. But the inconsistency, not inconsistent. I don't think he's inconsistent. I mean, let me just say he's streaky. I think Jamarcus Lawrence is a very streaky guy. Like if he gets hot, he can rev up real quick. He can heat up like a microwave real quick. But there's times that what does he do that changes the game when he's not there? And you see there's some waning in some of the way that he defends. He gets a little tentative at times on his attack. He'll hit hard in the first half and then he'll disappear in the second. So we just got to figure out what that consistency is going to look like for him.
Do you think that was just freshman growing pains? Do you think that's just his game?
Well, see, that's the thing. Every year, the system is built like this. It's similar in the NBA. When I played, every year you've got to come back with something different. Your free throw shooting's got to increase. Otherwise, it's going to be hack central. Anytime you attack, they're not going to let you get shots up. So then that's got to increase. Your ball handling, your distribution. There's going to be things that they're going to see in you. Well, we're going to take this away. Similar to what they did with C.J. Wilcher, right? C.J. Wilcher, it was run him off the three. There's not much. So then you've got to elevate or you've got to change your game, and it has to go through levels. It's got to come back with one or two things. You don't got to come back with a whole treasure trove of things, but you got to come back with a couple of things to add to your repertoire in your game. And so that's what I want to see, hopefully in the offseason, if I get a chance to put my eyes on them, to see if there's been some things that they've been able to add to their game.
So Kerr Kriisa visiting Nebraska today. Another name that Nebraska reached out to was Syracuse transfer guard Joe Girard III. That's a guy from New York who played in that Syracuse system. And the Duke fans I follow on Twitter always, gave Joe Girard some grief because he did a couple things really well. He shot the ball well, and he shot the ball well. Those are the couple things Joe Girard did. He played some point guard for Syracuse, ends up averaging about 3.5 assists per game for his career. But again, shot 40% from three 2 seasons ago, 38% last season on pretty high volume. That's a guy that I think is more experienced than Kerr Kriisa, shorter but a little thicker. The issue is he would be the biggest defensive liability. So if he comes and plays alongside Keisei Tominaga, that makes the wing and post defense that much more important because guards are going to get blown by. Keisei competes, but he's not a lockdown defender. Joe Girard, coming from a zone, maybe he'll be different in man, but he got beat quite a lot when I watched that. So if you're looking to add some more offensive firepower from the guard spots, I think either Kriisa or Girard would be fantastic gets, but then it makes Juwan Gary's return. It makes Blaise Keita taking that next step forward. Whoever the next, big that Nebraska gets from the transfer portal is, it makes their ability to help and recover and protect the rim that much more important.
Yeah, I definitely would say that their lead guard, finding out and identifying their lead guard situation is priority number 1. 2, I think, like you said, it's important to get – you don't necessarily need a high volume of anything from the big. You just want a big that can actually handle himself in the paint, rebound, He can make a lot of noise without being seen, right? He's kind of like one of those snipers or one of those ninjas that they operate in silence, and then all of a sudden you look up and they've got 15. You're like, wait, where did that come from? That's the kind of big man I think they need, not one that you have to actually have Derek Walker, abilities. I don't think you need that with this team. With their five open, I think he has to be able to stretch the floor a little bit though, because I think Nebraska would have had tremendous success in this season, great success, if Breidenbach would have been able to shoot the ball better. It just was able to just shut down the lanes. It just didn't help. I told you, if he comes back like Drew Timme, then he could be okay, because then the shot will open up for him. Blaze Keita has that touch. He has the ability to stretch to about 15. But if you can get a guy that can stretch you out a little bit with that five out motion style offense that they run, I think somebody there that can attack the glass, is willing to do all the dirty work, will be fine.
Some other names from the text line here. Byron throws out Jamison Battle and then Jameer Nelson Jr. Jameer Nelson Jr. I don't think comes here, but would be a heck of a get. Jamison Battle would be one I'd be interested in. Not a great on-ball defender, but a good team defender. He can be generally in the right spot, even if he won't lock you up. A good enough shooter. And he has Big Ten experience. So if you can tell me Nebraska's starting wings next season are Jamison Battle and Juwan Gary Strick, I sign up for that right now.
All day. I said I love Jamison Battle. I think Jamison Battle would be a tremendous fit. And, he's very capable in doing a lot of those pesky-like things and offensive rebounding, getting hands on balls. He's long, so he's able to, really help out. He's got good feet, too. I also, like Byron said on the text line, that's what I was talking about. What Byron just said, he said this on the text line. Did you read it?
About the athletic center that can run the court?
He said, yes, I want K-State 6'10" athletics freaks that could actually run the court. So one of the things that I've said on the show before is that I want a Mikey Moore type. And if none of you guys ever got a chance to see us play back in the 90s, Mikey Moore is what I'm talking about. Mikey Moore, he spent, I think 12, 13 years in the league, and he just was doing what was necessary, setting screens, knocking down the 12, 15-foot shot when he needed to. You hardly saw him, but he was impactful, whether it be on offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, block shots. He just was always at the right place at the right time, but he was like a gazelle running the floor. So in fast break opportunities, he's on a trail, and if he catches you, he's putting you on a poster somewhere. And that's the kind of guy that I think could be a great fit for Nebraska next year. Somebody like that. So I agree with Byron on the text line.
And Mikey was never a star. He was a star in his role, but he was never the headline guy. But a guy that does those little things so well, it's crazy how big a difference that makes when the guard has those extra couple inches off the screen, when you don't have to worry about, a big guy getting a rebound because a Mikey Moore is either going to out-jump him, go get it, or box him out, put a body on him. The little things from a player like that make everyone else's job so much simpler.
Mm-hmm. And what that's why I talk about a good lead guard. See, right now, it's the dribble handoffs, the kind of sneaky pick that catches you off guard, that you really just kind of get lost in the defensive, rotations. But the issue with that is usually it's a drive to finish or one pass option. The weak side stuff usually gets lost in Nebraska's because Griesel just wasn't that type of guy. Griesel wasn't that type of guy that can hold you on a hip, see what you do, cross you over to the middle, still got you on the backside of him. Defensive, the big man doesn't approach, I can float you and drop you. If he does approach, I might give you a head fake hezzy, get by you, finish, or I'm dropping a weak side dime on a dime to a shooter on the week. That's the kind of guard I'm talking about. That kind of guy that can just really put you on a string, have you stretched out, and shots just become so much easier. I would hope that can happen, but I'm not sure right now of what our guards are.
Last thing to get to before we head to break and play the shootout with Strick. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line here in just a few minutes. Byron also said on the text line, Hunter Salas and Chucky Hepburn could still happen. I don't want to comment on those guys because they're not in the portal yet. Hunter Salas just got done, increasing his minutes by the end of the year. Helped Gonzaga turn that game against UCLA with his defensive pressure. Did a good job handling the ball for the most part. Was on the court in big moments. Sure, it'd be fun to have him in Lincoln, but he's not officially in the portal yet, so I don't even want to consider him an option. Same with Chucky Hepburn. I mean, his team is still in the NIT. Chucky Hepburn's played a key role for Wisconsin. Again, in-state guys that I could envision a role for at Nebraska, but to me, Strick, they're not even worth considering yet because they're not in the portal.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to speak about them let's speak about likeness of what they do well, right? What they do well, that likeness fits, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like, those types of players of a Chucky and a Silas at a 1 and 2 position. Then you add in Gary, big, strong, good feet as well. Not good at change of direction, but good at, body, keeping you in front. Jamarcus is that, with like a Silas's size, you could put him at the 3 and you could have 3 killer type front guards that can run that type of defensive scheme. They would get after people defensively, that type. So I could see that. Second, you would love the type from Hunter Salas as far as in the open court. Nebraska has a want to run. They need to create open court situations and easier baskets. He's that type. Getting downhill, open court, pushed out. Him and Jamarcus hit the wings. That type of person, get downhill, finish, or flow pass. And that's the type, Chucky, great lead guard. He's that guy, put you on a hip, put you on a stroll. Okay, yeah, you ready? Down in the post. Yeah, Blaze, let me find you right now. You got a disadvantage, you got an advantage there. Let's get at you. He's that kind of guard. So those types is what's needed, whether it be them or not. I don't know, but that's the type I'm talking about.
That's the insight from the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA veteran, Eric Strickland. Got a chance to take him down next, playing the shootout with Strick. The Final Four is tonight. That's right. Men's NIT Final Four tonight. That's what the trivia is about. You think you know your NIT teams and players? Call now, 402-464-5685. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line. We'll play the game on the other side.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin daydreaming about how they'll spend the prize money if they win, instead of paying attention to the road. So please, when I tell you that Nebraska Lottery Lotto games offer big money and big fun, keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like bright red sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a new computer, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks. All trim levels have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel, so do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck, so stop on in or visit us online at KoppelCars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with approved credit.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air. When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, These meals are ready to heat and eat, with packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8, and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $20 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Are you planting this spring? Make safety your priority. LES requires any landscaping or trees to be planted a safe distance from electrical lines and equipment to give crews safe access. Visit les.com/trees to learn more.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Reading may be the most valuable skill your child will ever learn. And research proves that when children read outside the classroom, they do much better in school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's easy to picture yourself reading with a young child curled up in your lap, but don't forget about your older children. They also need encouragement to read. So set aside some time to read together and help your child achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
That's right. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you have to do, beat Eric Strickland in a game of trivia. Proven harder to do more recently. Strick's been on a little bit of a roll, so a little bit of a taller task for the callers today. Strick, we got the NIT team. Some you might know, some you might not. How do you feel about the NIT?
Love playing there. It was great.
That did go very well.
I mean, listen, at this point, the best Big Ten showing is gonna in any national tournament right now is looking like it's Wisconsin. So let's just hopefully get something to savor the travesty that the Big Ten was in the NCAA tournament. Let me just say that.
Absolutely. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and we welcome in Dave. Dave, are you with us for the shootout?
I am.
Excellent. Hold tight. We're going to give Strick his round first, and then we'll get to your 5 questions in just a second. Stricky, you ready for your round?
Yeah.
All right, shootout with Strick round 1 in 3, 2, and 1. They beat Oklahoma State to make the NIT Final Four. North Texas or Sam Houston?
Sam Houston.
It was North Texas. They beat Cincinnati to make the NIT Final Four. Utah or Utah Valley?
Utah.
It was Utah Valley. He's North Texas's leading scorer. Mulaye Sissoko or Tyler Perry?
Perry.
Yep, he's Utah Valley's leading scorer. Justin Harmon or Trey Woodbury?
Woodbury.
It's Harmon. And which conference is Utah Valley a member of?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
West Coast, the WCC.
So close. The WAC, the WAC. Almost pulled it out of nowhere. That was almost Xavier-esque, Strick. You almost did it again.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, look. It ain't Thirsty Thursday, but Stricky on the boat. Yeah, man, my mind is buck wild right now. But it's okay. I'm okay with giving away the Stricken. I'll throw a lob pass over the ocean or the Gulf.
Fair enough. All right, Dave, you need 1 to tie. You need 2 to win. Are you ready for your round of the shootout?
Well, I guess.
All right. Well, ready or not, here it comes in 3, 2, and 1. They beat Oregon to make the NIT Final Four. Wisconsin or Liberty?
Liberty.
It was Wisconsin. They beat Vanderbilt to make the NIT Final Four. UAB or Michigan?
UAB.
Yep, he's Wisconsin's leading scorer. Chucky Hepburn or Stephen Crowell?
Crowell.
Yep, he's UAB's leading scorer. Jelly Walker or Eric Gaines?
10. The first one.
Yep, and which conference is UAB a member of?
6, 5, 4, 3, Sun Belt.
A good guess. It is Conference USA.
Finish him. Flawless victory. Give me a hell yeah.
That ain't no flawless victory.
I said give me a hell yeah.
Okay, maybe not flawless, but Dave, you win the Stricken. Congratulations on your win. Hold on the line. Rico will get your information down. Thanks for playing, Dave. Appreciate it. Job well done. All right, that's Dave. Strick, tough one with the NIT, not a tournament we pay a whole lot of attention to. But yeah, Wisconsin, the best showing by a Big Ten men's team, like you were saying, not ideal. They've played a very Wisconsin style to get there. Liberty had them on the absolute ropes at the Kohl Center, but Wisconsin found a way to pull it out. And what we've seen is the team that wins the NIT usually has a pretty good bump the next season. So if Wisconsin's able to finish that run, maybe that means bigger things in store for the Badgers next year. You're muted.
Yeah, they still have great youth on the team. So there's a good balance of youth. And as I said, their post players are solid, and they're very methodical. They ain't gonna do nothing sexy, nothing pretty. It's just gonna be very methodical. But if you like that style, then they may be all right, especially I think the Big Ten is down. That's just my personal opinion.
I think you're onto something there. That'll put a bow on hour number 1. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. A lot to get to in hour 2 yet. We're going to dive into the Lamar Jackson saga. Who's to blame? Is this on Lamar? Is it on the Ravens? Is it an AFC North rival in the Browns? Are they to blame given how they handled the Deshaun Watson contract? And yet, despite that, why aren't teams more interested in Lamar Jackson? We'll dive into all of that to start off hour number 2. And then at the bottom of the hour, we got Steve Sipple of Early Break with Sip and Jake. Got to watch a little bit of Husker football spring practice again today. What did he see? What are his takeaways from the first week and change of Husker spring ball? All that and more comes your way. Hour 2 on the block.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball, watching Sella spring the upset in college basketball, and of course, St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No tag on, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
A lot of businesses say that they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! He's going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Drake and Austin.
That's right. More on the block coming your way. We're with you until 4 o'clock Central Time. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland with you every weekday from 2 to 4 here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Starter Heyman Jewelers live video streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Oh, and by the way, if you have Allo Cable, channel 951. That's right, Strick. We're TV stars now.
That's what I hear, man. That's beautiful. That's just, man. Listen, DP and the crew are just doing a wonderful job of just expanding, man, what 93.7 The Ticket is, and that's phenomenal. I saw the word over here. I got the tweet while I was on the boat. It's dope. That's so fresh, man.
I went into radio thinking I wouldn't have to be overly presentable, be professional enough, walk in and not look too bad. But gosh darn it, with the streams, with TV and everything, I have to hire a makeup department. I don't like this. It's great, but man.
Yeah. Little did Nate know that we're actually going to be TV stars now. We're competing with you, Nate.
Seriously,
Nate Brennan. No, it's kind of crazy, and it's funny because there would be times when Nate would come into the show coming from 10-11, and he'd have the makeup on, and it'd just be funny in his little suit, and he would change. But that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest, Austin. I didn't really get into this. I just love sports, man. I love people. I love sports, and I'm grateful to be able to just talk about these wonderful young men and women that are coming up. This new part of the decade of sports that is in front of us. That's been recently past us, and it's been really cool, man. This is really cool for me.
Absolutely. Fantastic to be a part of the ride here at the Ticket. Love, working with you. I appreciate you being as welcoming as you have here in my first couple months. It's a Ticket family. It really is, from everyone that
really
works in the building and, our beloved blockheads. We appreciate you guys and all you do for us, all your comments and the nice things you have to say, and the mean things too, but mostly we appreciate the nice things. 402-464-5685 is where you get those thoughts in. Before we jump off into Lamar Jackson, a couple things. First of all, Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Big shout out to Charles and his crew. Now that we're on TV, got to make sure I don't have any of that slopped all over me, given that I'm a messy eater. But do go check out Charles and his crew at 27th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. And on that aforementioned text line, Augie says, give me Caleb Love. Strick, I don't know. The talent is there, highly rated recruit, but you live by the Caleb Love, you die by the Caleb Love, as North Carolina found out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that Nebraska fans have seen that. They've seen that picture. They know what that picture looks like. Let me just ask this. If you think the one-on-one style, I'm not going to say guys are selfish. I think they're just playing what they're used to doing in AAU ball and all of that. And they've been given deference and green lights and all of that stuff. But 402-464-5685 on the Sutter Heyman text line. Listen, if you had a chance to watch Nebraska play this year, do you like that style of basketball? Or do you like the style of basketball that was the previous year? Just let me know. I would love to hear it. I would say that going to the games, watching the crowd, seeing the reactions, watching the hustle, the scrappiness, making the pass, the willingness to say, yeah, you know what, I could have taken that one, but you know what, that one's got a little bit better. That was a more fun style for me to watch because there's so much frustration I mean, at the Ticket, they're lucky that none of the TVs were broke. Like I can come across very mild-mannered and stuff like that on the show and everything, but boy, some of the stuff I was seeing, it was so frustrating. But that's part of I say, me personally, I like the style of basketball that I saw last year. I would love to see a continuation of that.
The idea of Caleb Love, what Caleb Love could be, is fun. It's enticing, and someone will talk themselves into that, and they'll get, probably a couple 30-point games, maybe a 40-point game, and a cool clutch moment. But for every one of those you get, you'll get a game like he had against Duke this year, where he shot him out of it, where he took, contested one dribble pull-ups with 20 seconds on the shot clock, where he can see Baycott's number and says, nope, I got this, where you have RJ Davis coming around a pin down screen and you drive away from it instead of sharing the ball. So again, the idea is fun. He's a St. Louis kid. He would be pretty close to home. I still think he ends up somewhere SEC, maybe ACC again, but it's going to be a team that is in desperate need of lead guard creation. Nebraska has enough guys that they can get by without having to, like you said, rely on one guy going one-on-one. You just can't rely on that after what we've seen the last couple of years.
Yeah, in the style of play, then no. And also, I don't think he shoots a clip that's consistent enough to be one that you just say he's going to come off and you don't, mind. I mean, I don't even think Tominaga had that kind of green light. And I think Tominaga is a pretty good shooter. But, I don't know if that fits. To me, he's very – I think a good close picture that I can say outside of the passing and the skill set, he reminds me of Westbrook. Okay. I can see very Westbrookish style of play where Durant is right there and he's really that guy. Like he's a matchup nightmare, and you go and try to do it yourself in the last 15 seconds. I'm like, that to me is mind blowing. But who am I?
Speaking of Kevin Durant, he's back for the Suns tonight as they try to improve their seeding in the Western Conference. So that'll be something to monitor. But to the NFL, Strick.
Wait. Before we go to the NFL, listen, we talked real quick, Austin. I want to throw this at you real quick before we go to the NFL, because I know we're going to talk about Lamar Johnson, and I know we're going to get there. But the Dallas Mavericks experience is not working. Or the experiment. It is not working. And they're on the verge of maybe being dropped out. Like that's how close it is. And again, I think it goes back to me. Goes back to this for me, that you have two super alphas, and it's tough to have super alphas. See, the reason that worked for Cleveland is because LeBron is not a super alpha. And you know why I say that is because Dwayne Wade was that guy. When it came really, really time, Dwayne Wade was that guy. He was okay. He's okay with deference. He's okay with dropping it off to Bosch or those two. They're super alphas. If it's in my hands, if I'm doing something with it, And so I think that's why it's not going to work. I don't think Kyrie will be there next year. But I think that's going to put a damper on Luka Doncic. I think he may be 1 year away before he makes a decision to either it gets better or he may be one to ask for a bounce.
Let's have.
But if I'm the Dallas Mavericks though, I'm trying to preserve until after the CBA. I'm trying to do whatever I can to keep him happy, because I think there's going to be some adjustments and some changes in the CBA that's going to be better for the owners. So it may take away what you had in the James Hardens and the John Walls and the Kevin Durants and the Kyrie Irvings and all these individuals that just had so much power over the team. I think this next CBA is going to be something to keep an eye on. And I think the Mavericks may try to preserve it just long enough to see what that CBA is going to look like, because I think it'll put more power back into Mark Cuban's hand.
What do you think that looks like? How much more power?
Well, I think it'll just be enough that, guys can't get raked over the coals. Owners by way of, you just basically defaulting, because I think there may be some things about playing that may be added into it, possibly, missed games. So you can't pull a Ben Simmons type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Be forcing a team where, I think they worked out a way to where his salary, they found some loophole in it, but it still wasn't a good look. I think they're gonna try to work those things. I don't think it'll be a total shift to the owner side, but I think there'll be some balancing of that.
What then do the players get? Because if the owners get something, the players union is going to make sure the players get something too. What is it that the players would be willing to give up to the owners, but what do the players need to get back?
That's why I think it's probably going to be a lockout. So just be prepared. It's probably going to be a lockout because they're not going to be close. And the reason they're not going to be close is because the players got what they wanted in super high salaries, and the salaries were shit. My gosh, I told my mom, if you could have just waited about 10 years, we'd be about 60, 80 strong right now, you know. But mom and dad, they didn't know what was down the pike, so that only God knows that. But but nonetheless, I think that because of the negotiation with the networks, with the TV deals, I think that's going to be a hindrance to them really getting what they want from the owners, because the owners are going to be like, hey, what the frick you want me to do? You guys are putting out a bad product. You're not playing. You're missing so many games. We're load managing you. I mean, we did everything you wanted to do. Now, I mean, can we see some ROI on our investment? I'm come from the player side. I've been in a lockout. I know what it looks like, but at the same time, I just think that it's went way overboard, and it's probably some reining back, similar to like a stock, or similar to like the housing booms, prices are way through. There's some form of correction. I think this is going to be correction season for the NBA.
What is a lockout like as a player? I mean, you've been through it. I don't think that's anything that a lot of people can relate to. What's it like as a lockout?
I mean, basically, you got to get it how you live. Do it on your own. You got to go find hoop. You got to go find places. You got to come together, get with a group. Hey, we're going to meet down in Houston. We're going to be in New York, just to try to figure out how to do it. You can't simulate that stuff. You can't get with the team. You can't get certain workouts. If you have ailments or rehabs, you got to go get it. But then your salaries was cut. You're not getting no money. So hopefully you did good, and stock portfolios aren't tanking like they are right now, and 401ks is in the mud. Hopefully, you did good, and in that time it was a blessing. I did good. We put in a nice chunk of change into the war chest for the NBA for us to fight it, and we stood our ground, and ultimately we got some good terms in the deal. But I just don't know if this is going to be the one that they're going to be able to fight the long haul.
Was it worth it? Was going to the lockout in the short term and in the bigger picture? Did it end up worth it for you and the rest of the guys in the league?
I think it was. I mean, some would say that it wasn't. Some would say that particular lockout locked out a lot of the older veterans, because at that time, I think there was veteran minimums that were put in place. I mean, those minimums have increased, but at the time, it was something that, guys didn't want to touch. So it got to a point where if you were a 10-year guy, you were going to get a minimum of $1 million or some more dollars. They were saying, well, shoot, we can go down here and get us a 4-year guy and get somebody to replace you. So it kind of started to wash a lot of us out, which, it wasn't good. But so I would say I would say to what they see now, yes, it was good. I would say that was a positive, but to, some of us, it wasn't at the time.
There you go. Back on the Western Conference playoff picture with all those moving pieces, you mentioned the Mavs. Right now, they're in 11th place in the West, just a half game out of a play-in spot behind both the Thunder and the Lakers. Not out of it, but you lose 2 games in a row to Charlotte. That's never a good look, especially at this time of year. Say the Mavs make the play-in tournament. Does that make the Luka Kyrie experiment worth it? If they miss it, was it not worth it on its face? Even ignoring the results, was it worth the gamble, or would you have passed on the deal?
I mean, I think you can just look at to where it came. It kind of made sense at the time because Luka was ailing. And so, Kyrie, when you have both of them kind of in an ailing situation where one's not playing and the other one's kind of filling in the void, it makes sense. But if you look at it when they're together, you just look at their record when they're together, it's just not a good look for them. Just even over the last 10 games, I think they've won 3 of their last 10. Yeah. So it's not a good look for them on that. Now, what's helped them is the Lakers took a loss that they shouldn't have had. I think they lost. Well, I want to say it was either OKC. I can't remember exactly, but it was a loss that they, on the return of LeBron comes back and then they end up taking a loss. But again, they're still right there. They're only, like you said, a game and a half back. But still, look how close they are. I mean, there's only how many games left? I think 6?
Lakers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left. So yeah, between 6 and 7 games.
So with that, that's how crazy this is. The Clippers are making a nice run. It's looking like what they did is working to their benefit. The Suns has kind of been just holding on, but
they just got KD back.
Right. Just from that 5th slot, they're only 3 games. I mean, you go on a run right now, you can jump all the way up as far as the 3rd, 4th, the 4th or 5th seed. So it's still kind of crazy. So keep your eye on this next stretch. Again, the Lakers hit the road. They're on their probably not they're the second easiest schedule, but they're on the road. And on the road, they're not great. They're 15-23 on the road, or 16-20 on the road. So that's something to keep an eye on, even though they're not going to be playing great teams. You've already seen what they did against Houston. They lost to Houston. Houston on a given night can get on one and then end up clipping you. So that's the scare. I personally think Houston's already on a boat like me somewhere. They're already in the Gulf somewhere. I mean, they didn't checked out, but we'll see.
You mentioned those last 7 games. They play on the road at Chicago tomorrow. Oh, they just lost to Chicago at home.
They just lost to them. That was the game because DeMar Rosen and them and Zach LaVine was going nuts on them. Yeah, that's the game. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's when they thought they should have got.
Yeah, they should have had that one. You go to Minnesota, who's pesky, can get you any given night. You go to Houston, where, like you said, you just lost, and that's a young team that can get on a heater at any given moment. Then you go to Utah, which, for people maybe accustomed to the LA nightlife, Utah's fighting too. They're in that same conversation. Your last road game of the season then is you play the Clippers, but that's back at whatever it is now. Not the Staples Center, but it's always the Staples Center to me. And then Phoenix
or something like that.
Yeah, whatever it is. So you can't afford to lose to Chicago again. You got to find a way to clip Minnesota, but then you finish out with Utah twice, the Clippers, and Phoenix. All of those teams have something to play for. So you need LeBron healthy and engaged, and you can't afford to have any missteps because Dallas will get you. Utah will get you. OKC could move up maybe a little bit. So there's so many teams in that stretch that are going to have their season defined by these last 5, 6, 7 games.
Exactly. Especially in the Western Conference. That's definitely the case. And like you said, they're not all the way sold. They're not all the way in position yet. So Chicago's still fighting for their life. So they're going to come out and play.
Chicago's in 10th right now.
They're in 10th, and that's the thing. There's still, a game stretch left where, if Washington gets on one, which they're 2-8 of their last games, but if Washington got on one or the Pacers got on one, watch out. You might end up getting your playoff pass revoked. So you need to basically stay on point. So just be careful now. Chicago's fighting for their life too.
Absolutely. In that Eastern Conference, the Bulls are a game back of both the Raptors and the Hawks in that 8-9 game. And the Heat right now are 4 games clear of the Bulls at 40-35, 14 back of the Bucks, who right now look again like the class of the NBA. Boston came out so strong to start the year. Milwaukee just kept plugging along. Middleton out for a while. Giannis
out for
Holiday kept them pretty much afloat. Boston was the talk of the first few months, but right now it's Milwaukee who's the class of the East again.
Absolutely. I would have to agree. Keep an eye on them. They're dangerous. But I want to ask you this question. Which one of the 2 teams are fraudulent, the Denver Nuggets or the Memphis Grizzlies? Sutter Heyman text line, you can jump in on that too. 402-464-5685. Which of those two teams are fraudulent? Because I think one of them, if not both are.
What stands out to me is the Nuggets 32-6 record at home. And that makes a lot of sense because you're playing at altitude, whereas Denver's used to. What I didn't realize is that Memphis is also 32-5 at home. So those two teams are very good there. What I will say is Denver has the best player between those two teams in Nikola Jokic, and they've been closer than Memphis has. So to me, yes, the Nuggets still have plenty to prove in terms of making the Western Conference Finals and finally breaking through. Memphis hasn't even done that. So Memphis has a lot more that it can show me.
My sleeper is Sacramento, and
yep.
They're my sleeper because they've been the most consistent and most balanced team in the Western Coast, in the Western Conference. So yeah, I'm watching out for them as my sleeper.
There you go. We're going to switch gears now to Husker spring football. Steve Sipple of Early Break with Sip and Jake. He'll join the show. What's he seeing at practice? What is he hearing? We'll get the lowdown and the latest from Husker spring ball with Steve on the other side.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Reading may be the most valuable skill your child will ever learn. And research proves that when children read outside the classroom, they do much better in school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's easy to picture yourself reading with a young child curled up in your lap, but don't forget about your older children. They also need encouragement to read. So set aside some time to read together and help your child achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Mike Shaver here to tell you that Trek CBD has a new name, and it's Hemp Boss. It's the same product you've grown to love, just a new name. Spring sports are on the horizon, and Hemp Boss has a variety of products that help calm me down. during games and on the golf course so it don't go over the top. And they have a variety of options for you to calm you down before, during, and after any event. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Hemp Boss has it all at 84th and Andermatt. Hemp Boss, naturally healthy CBD.
A lot of businesses say that they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay. Playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the block, Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you, joined as we are at this time on Tuesdays by our own Steve Sipple of Early Break with Sip and Jake. Steve, happy Tuesday to you. Good stuff on the show today. How you been? How was practice?
I've been fine. How have you been?
Doing well here. Plenty to get to with you regarding spring football. You've had a chance to see these guys up close. I haven't. The one thing I've heard pretty consistently is that there's a difference. You can tell who transferred into Nebraska from programs like Georgia and Florida and who's been, at Nebraska. Is there really that big a difference between what guys like, Gilbert and Sherman and Borders and Collier look like compared to the rest of Nebraska's roster?
Oh, let me think about that a little bit. Those guys are good-looking athletes, particularly Borders and Sherman. Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, I guess there's some semblance of truth to that, except, I'd put Thomas Fedoni as a player. It was a big-time look to him. I'm trying to think on offense. Those running backs that are left over are good-looking athletes. Gabe Ervin is a big-time looking. He's a 6'1", 220-pound guy that can blaze. So I wouldn't go all in on that. But I will say this: Sherman. I kind of got my first look at Sherman today, actually, MJ, and that is it's pretty striking. I got to say, Chief. Listen, Austin. Keith Borders just looks like a Big Ten defensive edge guy should look like. I don't want to go overboard. Let's just, if you want me to pour a little cold water on it, he doesn't look like Randy Gregory. I haven't seen anything like that over there. Although, as far as quarterbacks go, you got to keep it in the right context here, but as far as quarterbacks go, I'd say Jeff Sims is in that Randy Gregory territory. I haven't seen many quarterbacks that are as physically impressive looking as Jeff Sims. Now, I don't know. We'll see how he plays. He's got to be more consistent. He can't throw picks. But you know what? They did bring in some good-looking players.
You mentioned Jeff Sims and how he looks. A name that I haven't heard him compared to a lot, but I'd be curious to see a comparison between these guys in person is Anthony Richardson, from Florida, who's in the NFL draft this year. Richardson ends up starting All 12 games for Florida last year, played 7 games the year before that. Completed 55% of his passes, 3,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions across his really 2 years at Florida when you look at the total number of games that he played in. Say Nebraska gets 60% completion, 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 10 picks from Jeff Sims. Is that a successful year in Lincoln for him if he's the starter?
Say those numbers again.
60% completion, 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 10 picks.
I don't know. I think you wanted it to be a little better than that. Yeah, you want it to be better. I don't know. I'm not going too far down that path, Austin, because you got to win the job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a given. That's far from a given.
Is it a 50-50 between Sims and Thompson at this point? Is there an edge one way or the other through a week and change of spring?
Well, I mean, it's a no decision because Casey hasn't been able to do anything. Casey's in a yellow jersey. He threw a little bit today, but he's not doing any teamwork. He's doing nothing with teams. I saw them do one individual drill today. So, I mean, it's hard to say. That competition will start in earnest in August. It'll start to a certain degree. I guess it could start maybe to a certain degree this spring if Casey gets cleared to operate with the team, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't even think Matt Rhule wants him to do that. So it's hard to say right now. There are only 5 practices in. I think today was their first in full pads. I mean, I know, Austin, we want to do this and fans want to do it. They want to draw a lot of conclusions really early, but you heard Matt Rhule today. Now let's put it this way. Matt Rhule is telling his assistants, I don't even want you to evaluate these guys with a depth chart in mind. Teach them and develop them. We'll worry about that later. I mean, it's a new coaching staff that's 5 practices in with 1 practice in pads. There's just nothing in terms of like sizing up position races. No, it's not anything we can do right now.
You mentioned that competition, don't evaluate with a depth chart in mind. I mean, that's what, we do from our perch. We try to project out a little bit. From what you've been able to see of practice, has the coaching staff been able to do that? Are they, treating players similarly regardless of, where they were on the depth chart last year?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, it's, we don't see enough of it to fully judge that. I mean, I know how it is. Again, it's really, really interesting stuff, and people want answers. But I'm just kind of telling you, they're really not there. There's certain things you can glean from 5 spring practices, but not much. I mean, really not much. I mean, what I always say about the spring is it's about individuals. And a lot of times it is about guys that can make moves on depth charts. I wouldn't even say that's the case this year. You're just kind of trying to, man, I'll tell you what, it's so early in this process. Everybody's learning. And I'm talking about the players and coaches. They're still in the very early stages of learning the system. I think it's fairly frustrating. I mean, I got that from Matt today. He doesn't say it like that, but I think it was pretty tense today. I mean, it was. I saw that. There's no doubt there was tension. Matt Rhule said that the Tuesday after the first week is always it's a tough practice. It's often a bad practice because they just had their first week with the new staff, kind of a little bit of a honeymoon. And then you come back and it's tough. And it was, the observation that I make is there was tension today for sure. And the other observation that I really like is on our show, Bill Bush talks about a 4th down mentality. It's always got to be like 4th and 1 in a program. At LSU, it was always 4th and 1. It always felt that way to Bill. It feels that way here now. Like it does. It feels 4th and 1 now. And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't have said that in Riley's program or Frost's program. So yeah, this is different. It's different. I mean, Rhule's not messing around.
When you say 4th and 1, when Coach Bush says 4th and 1, is that in terms of, just the physical nature of, can we be bigger, faster, stronger than you for these last 3 feet? Or is that more like a sense of urgency? Like, we have to convert, everything's on the line.
Yeah, urgency. That every day's got to feel like 4th and 1. And that's hard. It's hard. It takes a lot of it takes a toll on guys. It's not easy to always operate in that environment. But we're getting a better feel for Rule, and I'd say it's a lot of that. And I think he likes tension. I think he likes to keep the tension. Coaches, a lot of coaches are like that. And I think we got one here. Again, here's the thing, Austin. Again, I know everybody wants all these answers that some of them just aren't there yet. I mean, we're all learning. We're learning about Matt Rule. We're trying to assess personnel without seeing practice. We saw 40 minutes today, but you don't see what I'm telling you, Austin, is you don't see any team drills. I don't see any. You don't see 11 on 11. You don't see 7 on 7. So how much can you really assess? I know that's not what you want to hear. I don't think it's even what listeners want to hear, but there has to be some reality in the conversation too. So we're a ways from knowing. There's a lot more we'll have to ascertain, and it won't happen until mid-August.
Talking with Steve Sipple here during On the Block. One position that you touched on a little bit is the running back position. You wrote about it. You heard from Ramir Johnson today. We've heard Gabe Ervin and A.J. Allen's name thrown out there a lot. Anthony Grant, the leading rusher last season. Going back the last 5-6 years, Steve, there hasn't really been consistency for what Nebraska has looked for in a running back. They've gotten different types of guys. And to some degree, you have to do that to have, an every down back, a third down back, a pass pro guy, a short yardage guy. But there's no real through line consistently that I can see, at least in terms of Nebraska having a plan with its running backs and what it wants to do. You've heard from Marcus Satterfield. You've heard the names thrown out there. What do you think the plan is for Nebraska's running style with that whole stable of running backs?
I mean, they want to get down. I don't think don't overcomplicate it. They want to be down. They want to be a downhill rushing team. They want those guys to be able to do it all. They want them to be able to flex out, catch balls out of the backfield. You got to be able to pass block, obviously. And if you're running a downhill pass or a downhill running game and you're emphasizing the play action pass, which is what they want to do, you better have a good blocker back there too, right? So that's what it is. It's a good room. And Matt has really made that clear. And it's not hype. It's not hype because these guys have done it. I mean, Anthony Grant ran for 915 yards last year. A.J. Allen was pressing him when A.J. Allen broke his collarbone in the 4th game. He was pressing him. Gabe Ervin started 2 games as a true freshman a couple of years ago. This isn't Sipple coming on the radio and throwing out false hope. I've seen it. They're good. They got some dudes. Ramir Johnson led the running backs in rushing 2 years ago. He's done it. It's not anything that I'm dreaming up in my head. These guys are good. That was 2 years ago for Ramir. He's better now. Those guys that's a tough room. I don't know how it's all going to work, but I've covered the program long enough to know you better have 3 or 4 guys, and they do. I don't mean 1 or 2. I mean 3 or 4, and they have it. So it's the strongest position on the team. I mean, it's certainly the strongest position on offense. But that tight end position, I'll tell you something now. I mean, if you're trying to generate excitement, go watch Arik Gilbert and Fedoni. I don't know how you do it. You might be able to find some video somewhere. I mean, they got serious tight ends. I mean, serious. Gilbert, I mean, now again, it's not hype. He had 38 catches at LSU. 35 catches for 368 yards. He's already done it in the SEC. I can't believe it when I look at him. I mean, now when you're talking about, when Randy Gregory came here from Georgia, or where the hell he came from, he transferred. he didn't come from Georgia. He came from a junior college. But when he came here, we all said, what's he doing at Nebraska? Would he get lost on the way to the SEC? That's what we were saying about Randy. It looks like Gilbert took a wrong turn somewhere, and he left the SEC and got lost and ended up in Lincoln. We talked about this earlier in the call. Those guys do look a little different, and Gilbert leads that discussion. I mean, he's a big man and he moves well. Bush has said on our show that the LSU staff was amazed by the stuff he could do, and now I'm starting to get it. When you look at that body, 6'5", 260, and see the movement, it's astounding to me. Now you got to keep him right. He's got to be ready to roll, but there's a lot of potential there. There's NFL potential there.
Nebraska's had some darn good tight ends over the last few years. The position I think Sean Beckton did a really good job with.
Yeah.
And you're saying Gilbert and maybe Fedoni as the number 2. I mean, he was the top tight end recruit in his class, so unproven. But do you think that there's a world that the tight ends could be Nebraska's primary receiving options this year?
You know what? That's a good question. I guess I don't know enough about Satterfield's line of thinking to put it quite that way. But Satterfield did say they're going to be in 13 personnel a bit of some of the time at least. That's 3 tight ends. So yeah, I think they got to be prominent. They have to be, and they were both the top ranked. Gilbert was the top ranked tight end in his class. I think it was a class of 2020, and Fedoni was the top ranked tight end in his class. So they got 2 of them, and I could see it where they have those 2 on the field with Bonner, with Janier and Bonner, who's a very intriguing player in his own right, moving from receiver to I think what Matt Rule calls it is an S tight end. A very kind of a hybrid. And Bonner's intriguing that way if you see him, because he is he always looked a little too big, thick-legged to me as a receiver. So I think this move makes a lot of sense to move him from a pure wide out to more of a hybrid tight end.
He's Steve Sipple. You hear him on Early Break with Sip and Jake every morning here on 93.7 The Ticket. You also can read his work for Husker Online, the On3 network. Steve, appreciate the time and the insight from spring practice. A few more weeks to go before we get to that spring game, and we'll hope to pick your brain on what else you've seen next week.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Once again, Steve Sipple with us here on the block. We'll step aside. We got DP&J in the building. We'll cross it over to wrap out on the block, get you set up for old school when we get back.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln.
Spring sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $20 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right Auto and you'll find 100 great vehicles at some great prices. You won't get 11 since we back one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks, all trim levels, have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel. So do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck. So stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with approved credit.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road. If you're not sure what your evening plans are and want to change things up, look no further than Craft Axe Throwing. Whether for a date night, an evening with friends, or even a private party, you're sure to make memories at Craft Axe Throwing. Trained instructors help make things easy to understand, and a stock bar makes it a great hangout spot. With 13 throwing lanes, there's plenty of opportunity to reserve your spot today. Choose the Lincoln location at craftaxethrowing.com to book a lane or call 402-802-9696. Craft Axe Throwing at 18th and N. Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here for On the Block. Strick had to dip, bad internet connection on the high seas. Wildly unfortunate, but thanks to him for tapping in, even though he's not in the building. So we'll finish you out here the last couple minutes. DP and Jay with Old School here. DP hopping in the building here. DP, big day. We're on TV now.
What'd you say?
We on TV now.
Man.
We need makeup department.
Man. Yeah. Yesterday, last night, today, big day. We keep trying to evolve and keep trying to provide other ways for people to enjoy us, right? That they can just hang out with us. And whatever way you consume your sports talk, like whatever way that is. Young people are app people. They want to be on an app that's on their phone. It's simple. Some folks are in the car most of the day. They want to enjoy it that way. If you're on the internet and you want to enjoy it on Facebook or YouTube, whatever way it's convenient for you, we've made that a way. And then finally, and well, maybe not finally, but the last thing was just being able so that if you're at home and you have Allo, that you're able to just hit the remote and at the top of your radio dial, right, your TV dial, right at 9:51, you can log in and hang with us all day, and you can save your phone for something else. You ain't got to charge your juice. You ain't got to burn your data. It's just on Allo cable, and we'll be there all day, every day. We're even working on setting up a rotation so that the stuff that runs earlier in the day when we get at night, you can see some of the stuff that you've missed, especially some of the student athlete programming. But we've also got some ideas, that we got some dudes in the building that might want to do some specific content that's a little different from the regular programming. We now have the freedom to do that as well. So I would imagine that we challenge this big dude sitting next to me to come up with some additional content. Maybe some NFL content, maybe some scouting content from Jay Foreman. But that would be the next thing that we can add to the table.
I'm sure there are plenty of Royals fans out there like me who, with Valley Sports going under, want to see the Royals on TV. We are the radio home. We will not be televising the Royals games.
Correct.
Sorry, Royals fans, because during Royals day games, we will still be on stream, correct?
Yes. So Thursday is opening day. And if you're in the car, 93.7 The Ticket will be running the Royals baseball game, all the ceremony and all the things involved in that. So starting at 3:00, actually, we may go a little early for the pregame, get some of that so folks who are in the mood can get in baseball mood. And then if you're in the car, you'll be able to catch the Royals game and do that. Now, on the streams, so Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter Live, and on Allo, you'll get old school. You'll get On the Block, you'll get Old School, you'll get whatever the other programming. You'll get the Almond Green Show Thursday at 6:00. So there'll be other programming that you'll be able to follow on the stream. But you want to get down and get your funky, you can sit at home and Jay Foreman is right there in your living room.
I don't know if people want that, man. They be like, dang, we want to keep that voice on radio. We want to see that mug.
That was a special request.
You're fresh and clean, Jay.
That was a special request. They were sending out DMs. Hey, Jay gonna be there, right?
Yeah. I gotta get some Just for Men going on. That's why, Austin. The lower the hair, the less the gray shows, man. I can always blame it on the sunlight. The few sunlight days that we got out here, and
you're 47.
47, yeah.
Yeah, that gray is. Yeah.
Oh, I like it, man. It's cool. I don't really mind it, or whatever it is, what it is. It's my grandfather was gray, so it obviously brings that some fondness.
Here's the question for you, though. When are you gonna go Chuck Foreman with the full gray salt and pepper afro?
I had it going for a while.
See, that's what.
Usually I get it going during the winter, and just because colder weather or whatever. But now, actually I got bamboozled when we had that that couple hot days.
Yeah.
Went got a shorter haircut, and then obviously yesterday it was like that was probably a little bit too quick. So,
Hawk like the back of Jay's neck,
and then, it's all up on the back of your neck, up in your nostrils and stuff, and on your head. So, I think look, and the station is expanding to be able to be on TV, to be able to do some different stuff. Obviously it's good. I think it's everything that's been happening. Just seems like yesterday. But it's it's obviously in a positive matter, and as the growth goes, it's the survival of the fittest, or like my mom says, survival of the fitness. But that's the Meridian, Mississippi version. Yeah. But that's what you're able to do to expand, grow, and challenge as well. And that's seems like what we've been doing around here. So it's a good thing. And then obviously, it goes right along with, stuff that we'll jump in here with old school as far as practice, dive in deep to what you've seen or what you got to see.
Yeah.
Position groups, which obviously is good. I mean, they're right in the, the nuance of spring ball's over where everything's exciting. And now you're really trying to get in work, and hopefully you see some separation. They got a different couple guys that are playing different positions, which is, I think is good, because I think anytime you bring in a new coaching staff and ultimately you have some players that have played on both sides of the ball. I mean, you got to think even with Jake Applegate, right? He was got recruited originally as an outside linebacker, really good athlete, 6'4", probably 225, 230. He was a receiver kind of in high school, which obviously he probably was about 215 then, but still a good enough athlete to do that. Got bigger. He's playing tight end. AJ Rollins, well, first of all, then Bonner went from receiver to tight end, which obviously the best example of that is somebody to go from receiver to tight end is Shannon Sharp. I know we're right up against the minute there, Austin. And then we got another one where you got AJ Rollins, who I originally thought was a better defensive end than tight end prospect. Now he's on the other side. So what you're doing is you're seeing some finally forward thinking and using everybody on the roster, ultimately, hopefully giving everybody a true, pure chance to compete. So going to get into the a little bit of Husker talk, a little bit of Sweet 16 with or Final Four with the women, which obviously was good last night, and then a little bit of basketball talk. There's a big recruit in there for Mr. Fred Hoiberg, so it's all good.
That there is. If you missed Strick and I talking about the visit today, make sure you check out the podcast. That'll be up for you in just a little bit, wherever you get your podcast. That'll put a bow on the block for today, giving way to DP and Jay for Old School. Thanks for listening here to 93.7 The Ticket, but don't go anywhere. Plenty more coming your way yet this afternoon and evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Mike Shaver here to tell you that Trek CBD has a new name, and it's Hemp Boss. It's the same products you've grown to love, just a new name. Spring sports are on the horizon, and Hemp Boss has a variety of products that help calm